everybody, and welcome to another ASMR video here on the channel. In tonight's video, I figured we'd kind of combine a lot of popular elements here on the channel. Tonight we're going to be combining history with facts, and then I guess you could say my semi-recent dinosaur videos have been pretty popular as well. So tonight we're going to be taking a little look at some of the most insane fossils ever found. I'll be sure to have them flash up on screen and we can talk a little bit about them. So hopefully you enjoy it, hopefully you find it informative and relaxing, of course. And without further ado, let's get into it. So we begin with number 1. A velociraptor and its prey were fossilized mid-combat. Velociraptors are poorly understood outside of the paleontological community, mostly due to inaccuracies in the Jurassic Park franchise. No, velociraptors were not 6 foot tall, hyper-intelligent carnage machines. The velociraptor was actually about the size of a turkey, and more of a scavenger than a predator. Still, that doesn't mean that some raptors weren't predatory in nature. One fossil really captures a raptor preying on Protoceratops, but the fight was much closer than you would imagine. The raptor had pierced the Protoceratops with its massive toe claw, but the Protoceratops managed to bite and break the raptor's arm using its powerful beak. The two passed away together, probably due to the unexpected collapse of a sand dune. Next, one dinosaur was preserved while incubating her nest. One fossil of a dedicated mother incubating her eggs made waves when it was discovered in the Gobi Desert. The 80-million-year-old Oviraptor helped prove that some dinosaurs had strong parental instincts at a time when there was little evidence to support the idea. It also strengthened the idea that dinosaurs and birds were remarkably similar. The poor mother was likely covered in sand while defending her nest from the elements, immortalizing her as one of the best mothers of prehistory. Next up, Siberian scientists found nearly an entire woolly mammoth skeleton, along with its skin, wool and tongue. In July 2020, a reindeer herder noticed the skull of a woolly mammoth sticking out of a lake in northeastern Siberia. Scientists who subsequently excavated the site discovered about 90% of the male mammoth's entire skeleton, along with some of its skin, wool and other soft tissue such as ligaments, and even its fossilized poo. Pavel Kozintsev, a senior researcher from the Institute of Plant and Animal Ecology in Russia at the Urals branch of the Russian Academy of Sciences, told Live Science that finding any kind of fossilized soft tissue is rare, and coprolites are even rarer. Coprolites being poo. The mammoth likely perished at least 10,000 years ago and was well preserved due to Siberia's cold temperatures. The skull became visible when the lake's water levels went down due to rising temperatures. Number 4. A 15-foot Icthyosaur was found with the torso of a 13-foot reptile in its stomach. About 240 archaeologists studying the remains of a 15-foot-long marine reptile called an Icthyosaur discovered the remains of another swimming reptile fossilized in its stomach. The reptile in the tummy, a Trilobite, at 13 feet long, was nearly as long as its predator. According to researchers who reported their results in August 2020 in iScience, the fossil likely represents the oldest evidence for predation on megafauna, i.e. animals equal to or larger than humans, by marine tetrapods. The Trilobite might have been so large that the Icthyosaur perished while attempting to eat or digest it. Next up, do mammoths accidentally locked tusks while fighting and likely starved? Mammoths were massive animals, so it's not surprising that a fight between two of these behemoths could turn deadly. A 20-year-old paleontologist made a once-in-a-lifetime discovery in 1962 when he was excavating a mammoth skeleton, only to find another mammoth tangled up in its tusks. The two had locked tusks while sparring, the last mistake they would ever make. Researchers believe the two mammoths were likely fighting over mating rights with a female before the fight turned ugly. One mammoth's tusk was found embedded in the other's eye socket, but neither could gain enough of an edge on their opponent for there to be a true winner. A pterodactyl-eating fish met its end in the middle of a meal. If you can believe it, there was a time when giant fish were literally plucking winged reptiles from the sky. And that's exactly what happened with this fossil, which depicts an Aspidoinchus munching on a small pterosaur known as Rumphoinchus. Unfortunately for both predator and prey, neither one would escape this encounter alive. The pterosaur proved too large for the Aspidoinchus, which may have gotten its teeth stuck in the flying reptile's leather wing. The pterosaur likely ran out of oxygen, and the monster fish probably starved soon after. The Helicoprion was a shark with a buzzsaw in its mouth. Perhaps one of the most bizarre and horrible creatures to ever terrorize the sea, Helicoprion was a shark species known only by fossils of its frightening teeth. Sharks are cartilaginous, meaning that they don't have bones capable of being fossilized, so most extinct sharks are known only by what is in their mouths. Scientists struggled for years to explain the unique spiral shape of Helicoprion's teeth. At first it was believed that the extinct shark had a buzzsaw-shaped mouth, but further research suggests that the teeth were actually situated inside Helicoprion's lower jaw. Continual growth of the whorl pushes the tooth root complex in a curved direction towards the front of the jaw, where it eventually spirals to form the base of the newest root material, and this process continues to form successive revolutions, researchers wrote in 2013. At some time prior to a complete 360-degree evolution of spiral growth, tooth crowns are concealed within tessellated cartilage on the upper jaw. This fossil was the claw of a moa, a new New Zealand bird that went extinct 600 years ago. Although some people have claimed this preserved claw is from a dinosaur, that is not true. It's actually the preserved foot of a moa, a giant flightless bird from New Zealand that went extinct more than 600 years ago, when people arrived in the area. Archaeologists discovered the fossil, flesh and skin still intact in a cave. Analysis revealed that the 3,300-year-old mummified claw belonged to an upland moa, one of the smallest moa species, reaching 4.2 feet tall at most. The claw was likely preserved because the upland moa perished in a cool, dry cave that provided natural conditions for preservation. Researchers found a 100-million-year-old spider and its meal encased in amber. Roughly 100 million years ago, spiders were just as terrifying as they are now. Need proof? How about this piece of amber that was discovered with a perfectly preserved spider inside? The spider was in the middle of consuming a juvenile wasp, when both predator and prey were engulfed in tree sap. This particular species of wasp preys on spiders' eggs, so the wasp might have had it coming in this situation. The fossilized amber was found in Myanmar. It's the only example of a spider fossilized during a hunt. Right, Beelzebufo was a frog that ate dinosaurs. Modern Madagascar is filled with some of the most unique wildlife on the planet. But go back 68 million years and you'll find a creature much more terrifying than anything alive today. Beelzebufo ambinga was a species of ancient frog that had a bite strong enough to prey on and eat small dinosaurs. They had massive gaping jaws that were much more powerful than those of modern amphibians. The bite force of these terrifying frogs was equivalent to modern-day wolves and tigers, making it one of the most ferocious amphibians of all time. A dinosaur tail covered in feathers was found trapped in amber. Scientists were thrilled at the announcement of a 99-million-year-old dinosaur tail found encased in amber, one of the rarest and most unique discoveries in all of paleontology. The tail, which was completely covered in feathers, is further evidence in the debate that many dinosaur species were actually covered in downy feathers. The tail is one of the most perfectly preserved dinosaur appendages ever discovered. Evidence suggests the tail belongs to a sauter, a bipedal theropod. Giant ants the size of hummingbirds once terrorized Wyoming. Sometimes extinction is a good thing. The modern residents of Wyoming can sleep easier, knowing that this terrifyingly large ant species, Titanomyma lubae, has been extinct for at least 50 million years. The ants were about 2 inches long, more than big enough to pack a serious bite. These animals required warm temperatures to survive, which could give us a glimpse into why these gigantic insects eventually perished. Peru was once home to giant penguins. Penguins are adorable, but scale them up to human height and they become a bit less cuddly. These massive penguins, known as Inkayaku paracatarrhinae, Acacensis were about 5 feet tall and one of the largest species of penguin ever discovered. The 36-million-year-old find was incredible, and not just because of the size. Along with the bones, scientists found preserved evidence of both scales and reddish-brown stomach feathers. A paleontologist discovered that rhinos and other exotic animals once lived in England. While modern England is not exactly known for its exotic wildlife, the discovery of Kirkdale Cave changed the perception of prehistoric England forever. Initially discovered in 1821, the cave was thought to be a little more than the resting place of a herd of unlucky cattle. Further analysis showed that the bones found in the cave were not from the cattle, but from a whole host of animals no longer found in England, including rhinos, hippos, mammoths, and hyenas. The small cave was too narrow to fit most of these species, so it is believed that the cavern was actually a den that hyenas used to haul their meals into for safe dining. Scientists found a mosquito trapped in amber, just like in Jurassic Park. For many fossil enthusiasts, the movie Jurassic Park was their first introduction to the prehistoric world. In the movie, dinosaurs are brought back to life, using DNA found in ancient mosquitoes trapped in fossilized amber. In October 2013, a real-life blood-filled mosquito was rediscovered after being forgotten in a basement for over 30 years. The fossil was originally found in Montana, but the immensity of the discovery was not realized for decades. Unfortunately, it's impossible to tell what animal the 46-million-year-old mosquito had feasted on when it became encased in amber. DNA simply can't survive for such a long period of time, no matter how well it is preserved. The dream of a real-life Jurassic Park is sadly an impossibility that is more science fiction than fact. A 200-million-year-old undersea attack was frozen in stone. Paleontologists at the University of Plymouth discussed their analysis of a 23-inch stone fossil of an ancient squid called, buckle in for this one, called Icthyosaur montefiore, with its tentacles wrapped around its prey. The 200-million-year-old fossil, found on the Jurassic coast of southern England in the 19th century, is the oldest known record of such a paleobiological event. The analysis was accepted for publication in the Proceedings of the Geologists' Association Journal, where researchers will detail their theories about how the incident was preserved and how the squid crushed its prey. The paleontologists suggest the fish that the squid attacked was too large and became stuck in its jaws, settling on the ocean floor where both animals remained deceased. Alternatively, the squid may have suffocated when it sank to the seafloor with its prey to avoid being attacked by another predator. This is nice. 2 turtles were fossilized while mating. Getting caught in the act is an embarrassing experience for any couple, but nothing compares to these 2 turtles who were discovered after being fossilized mid-copulation. sinking deeper into the lake and entering a deposit of deadly gas. The smallest known dinosaur from the Mesozoic era was preserved in amber. Scientists discovered a dinosaur approximately the size of a bee hummingbird, preserved in amber. According to a Nature article, the new species named Oculodentavis kangaroo was recovered from 99-million-year-old amber from northern Myanmar. Due to its miniature size, the creature has a unique pattern of cranial fusion and an autapomorphic ocular morphology. In other words, it has lizard-like eyes defined by a small pupil. The Ocongrey is the smallest known dinosaur from the Mesozoic era to date. Its skull is bird-like and about 7 millimeters long. Jingmai O'Connor, the lead author of the study and a paleontologist from the Institute of Vertebrate Paleontology in Beijing, China, said it's the weirdest fossil he's ever been lucky enough to study. Roger Benson, a paleobiologist from the University of Oxford, explained the miniature body sizes in birds evolved earlier than previously recognized and might provide insights into the evolutionary process of miniaturization. Okay, interesting. We're sticking with the kind of theme that the turtles set off. Trilobites had gigantic orgies, and some have been preserved forever. The animal kingdom can be pretty kinky sometimes, and even some of the oldest species on Earth were more liberated than modern humans. Take trilobites, one of the more recognizable fossils in the world. These tiny arthropods commonly engaged in massive orgies, sometimes with as many as 1 billion sexual partners all scurrying across each other. So many of these orgies have been observed that scientists believe that this was a pretty normal occurrence for these frisky creatures. They even got naked to perform the deeds, shedding their tough exoskeletons to expose the soft flesh underneath. On occasion, these events would end in disaster, as the mass of aroused trilobites would be smothered by sediment. Luckily for us, one species' sexual tragedy is another's scientific discovery. Scientists discovered 50-million-year-old sperm in Antarctica. I wasn't aware this article was going to just go sexual, but here we are. Sexy fossils. A group of fossilized sperm cells rocked the paleontological community, I bet they did, and made history as the oldest sperm ever found. The 50-million-year-old sperm came from a species of annelid Antarctic worm, one that is related to modern earthworms and leeches, but is now long extinct. The sperm was preserved in a cocoon, one that scientists believe the worms created for the sole purpose of getting down and dirty. This discovery is so remarkable because fossilized sperm is an incredible rarity, regardless of the age. Oh, interesting. We're sticking with the crew topics. Excellent. Someone found a fossilized penis, and it's the oldest one in history. There are just so many interesting things about the genitalia of this ancient crustacean. The animal, known as an ostracod, was the proud owner of the oldest intact penis ever discovered by science. body size, the largest of any known species. But that's not even the most amazing part of the story. It doesn't have one penis, it has two, said Professor David Siviter, a researcher with the University of Leicester. This 100-million-year-old fossil is definitely one of the weirdest discoveries in modern scientific history. I feel like I need to title this video like Most Insane Fossils Gone Sexual Gone Wrong in the hood. Right, last couple of this video. Here we have the forgotten bone. In 2017, a museum curator found a forgotten box at a Japanese university. Inside was a dinosaur femur and a note carrying the name of its discoverer. Curious about the species and the history behind the original discovery, a new analysis was done. It shattered the decades-old belief that it belonged to a dinosaur. Instead, the femur came from an extinct water mammal. Resembling a cross between a manatee and hippo, it cruised the Pacific Ocean around 16 million years ago. The herbivore, which belonged to the extinct genus Paleoparadoxia, grew up to 6.5 feet in length. The specimen's age confirms something scientists already knew. The Paleoparadoxia inhabited the seas 10 to 20 million years ago. However, this particular bone showed muscle scars. Such lines depict how a muscle is used during the animal's lifetime, and they could reveal how this creature moved its back leg. Ironically, the villager who found the femur knew it was not a dinosaur bone. During an interview, he even knew that it belonged to the extinct order of aquatic mammals called Desmostylia. Clearly, he had shown it to a scientist, but the latter had never pursued the matter. It was packed away and forgotten as an uncatalogued dinosaur bone. A proto-mammal litter. A couple of million years ago, a mammal gave birth to a huge litter of 38 babies. Well, it wasn't exactly a mammal. Cayendatherium wellesi was a cynodont, a mammal relative that lived during the Jurassic. The hairy creature was about the size of a beagle and offered interesting evolutionary insights. The 2018 study looked for links between the unique fossils and modern mammals. The 185-million-year-old litter was twice the size produced by any species today. The trait was more suited to reptiles. The babies also differed in another crucial way. Most young mammals today are cute, thanks to big heads and short faces. However, the bulbous skulls are not made to look adorable, but to hold big brains. The ancient infants had brains so small that they were born with skulls needing little structural transformation. Their 1 centimeter long heads were exact replicas of the adult females. For researchers, this is a once-in-a-lifetime discovery because it shows the lack of an important evolutionary step. At some point, mammal litters shrank as their brains grew. The hairy wonder and her large family proved this had not happened yet during the Jurassic. And we're going to finish this video with the platypus fish. Around 175 million years ago, before dinosaurs even existed, there was a magnificent coral reef near Australia. It was home to the earliest reef fauna, and the dominant fish group was Placoderms, jawed vertebrates often plated with armour. In 2018, researchers decided to reconstruct reconstruct a species called Brindabellospis densio, using fossils up to 400 million years old. The study revealed the strangest fish of the region. Apart from having nostrils in its eye sockets, Brindabellospis had a bizarre skull. Among other things, the jaws resembled the snout of a platypus. The armoured fish likely cruised the seafloor, much like a stingray, looking for the electrical signals of prey hiding in the mud. This conclusion came after a surprising discovery. The snout was lined with a sensory system, and soon scientists recognized it was a modified version of the pressure sensors that exist in other fish. It is a pity that placoderms are all extinct, as a living specimen could have solved another sticky mystery. Brindabellospis is so weird that nobody knows how or where